Welcome back to Let the Boys Watch, an entertainment podcast brought to you by Going Great Productions. Today's episode, we're going to talk about the 2001 dramedy, The Royal Tenenbaums, directed by Wes Anderson, co-written by Wes Anderson and Owen Wilson, starring Gene Hackman, Angelica Houston, Ben Stiller, Gwyneth Paltrow, Luke Wilson, Owen Wilson, Bill Murray, Danny Glover, Seymour Castle, Kumar Palani, and Alec Baldwin. I'm one of your hosts. My name is Robbie. Alongside me is the Cuz Benny. How you doing?
Doing great. I'm thinking about changing my whole life around over the course of 6 weeks.
I love it. It's a fantastic idea. And alongside us, one of our co-hosts and our good friend Ryan. Ryan, how's it hanging?
Pretty good. I had a meltdown on the tennis court, but other than that, feeling great. How about you, Robbie? How you doing?
I'm doing good. I saw that. I felt bad for you, but hey, I had the other guy. I bet the other guy, but I won some cash.
Robbie, how could you? I thought you'd have my back.
Well, I've been around you for a long time, and I know a meltdown when I see one.
You know it was coming. Yeah, so like Robbie said, this is Let the Boys Watch, and we're talking about the Royal Tenenbaums. A lot of I don't know, a lot of people that are our age might say it's one of their favorite films. It came out when a lot of us were college aged, probably the perfect time to see it.
Speak for yourself.
Well, not everyone saw it then. And speaking of that, one of the big reasons why we started this podcast was because some of us, Benny mostly, sometimes Robbie, have not seen a lot of your favorite movies. So that's what we're trying to do here is have them watch these movies and berate them for not watching them. But even more importantly is get their thoughts, see what they think. And I believe on this film, Royal Tenenbaums, both of you haven't seen it. Is that correct?
That is correct.
That is correct. Yep.
I love it. So before we get into that, just a few housekeeping notes. One, send us an email, ltbwpodcast@gmail.com. We love getting them. Unless it's absolute filth. Well, no, if it's absolute filth, we'll probably read it. But unless it's nonsense, we'll read it on the air. And we want to hear what you think about this episode or the episode upcoming, because we definitely give you plenty of time. And our social media team is posting, letting you know when we're going to record, what movie we're doing. We got voting every Friday. So there's no reason for you not to send us emails on the movies we've watched or the movies we're going to watch. And speaking of the Instagram, follow us there at Let the Boys Watch Pod. Now, for those of you that have been following us and emailing us, thank you. And you probably also got involved in a little contest we ran, September sweeps. Benny, tell them about it.
Yeah, so we had a September sweeps, as Ryan said. Basically, we are giving away a $100 gift card to
Can't
iTunes
wait to spin this wheel.
or the movie of your choice. And the contest is complete. All that's left to do is spin this wheel that we have here that I've shared in our Zoom chat if you're watching on YouTube. And if you're on YouTube watching this, why not follow us? Click the bell for notifications. Hey, listen, it's one a week. It's not going to be that many notifications.
No.
But yeah, we had almost 60 people enter the contest by way of voting in the polls that we have every week, writing us emails, and even a couple of people left us a review, which you can do even though we're not giving away $100. It would really mean a lot to us, and I think that's what matters the most. But boys, without further ado, should I spin this wheel?
Oh, please. I can't wait. Robbie, you ready?
Oh my God.
Right.
You should see my shorts right now. They're fucking drenched.
Is that are you sweating because you got to spend $33 right now?
Yeah. The bank account is bubbling.
All right. We're spinning. I don't know if you can hear that over the pod, but this is live. Who is it going to be? Oh, so close. Between the two people that had the most entries, one of them, spoiler alert, your runner-up was brother Phil. Well, so close, Phil. I don't know if you're going to see this, but the winner is one of our Instagram followers, Meow Kitty Purr. She left us a review recently, and that, you never know, might have put her over the edge, those 3 extra entries. So congratulations to you. We will be reaching out to you on Instagram to steal your identity. I mean, send you an email with your winnings.
Oh, that's
So,
amazing.
yeah, congratulations. I'm kind of glad it was somebody that we don't know, because it brings legitimacy to the contest.
I agree. Robbie, I'd like to hear your thoughts on this contest.
Congratulations, Meow Kitty Purr. You can buy tons of milk now to quench your thirst with all that winnings. Maybe maybe take those winnings and exchange it for some whole milk. So congratulations. I'm excited. I would have liked somebody that we knew won, but hey, it's your fault because you didn't write any reviews or anything like that. So congratulations, Kitty.
Exactly. Hopefully a fan for life. And she starts writing some emails. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, that'd
she
be
wrote a
awesome.
very nice review. A random stranger. We've known people for 30 years and they didn't take 2 seconds out of the day. So I mean, it shows you where the loyalty is in this country. So shout out to them and thank you so much, Meow Kitty. It was very nice, the words you wrote, and we appreciate that you appreciate the podcast, and we're happy you enjoy it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, that was awesome. Um, and I don't know, who knows? Maybe we'll do another contest down the line. But we definitely have a lot of plans in store. But let's get into the movies because that's what we're really here for, right?
Let's do it.
So because both of you have never seen Royal Tenenbaums, I'd like to know, like, before watching this movie, or maybe in the past 20 years, had you heard about it? Did you want to watch it? Did you have any thoughts on it? Benny, you want to start?
Yeah, I'll start. Yeah, so this was definitely a movie that I did want to see. It's my friend Brian's favorite movie, or one of them. So it was something he always talked about. The song "These Days" was always played in his red Nissan Sentra. You put the cassette into the console to get your CD player to play.
Oh yeah, I had one of
So
those.
yeah, so when that song came on, I knew it was from this movie, but it was cool to finally see where exactly it was from. I didn't know too much about the movie. I thought it was literally about a royal family, with just a bunch of like misfit kids, which I guess kind of loosely is what it is, just not necessarily a royal family. But this is definitely something I was interested in seeing.
Nice, Robbie.
Yeah, the same. I never, I guess, planned on watching this movie, maybe until, you know, I met my brother-in-law, who I, obviously known for a long time, but when he started dating my sister, and now that he's married to her, he always talks about his love for Wes Anderson films and tries to get me to watch a ton of his films, and I refuse out of stubbornness. But yeah, I never really planned on watching it, and surprising to me, I never kind of went on the interwebs and like did a Wikipedia search to kind of have the movie spoiled for me. So it was never on my radar, but I'm glad I was able to watch it. Like Benny said, I really can't come up with anything like funny or fake of that I didn't know about this movie. I just figured from the title, like Benny said, it was about a royal family with some shitty kids. Other than that, that's mainly what I thought about it. But I did see Grand Budapest from Wes Anderson. I haven't seen a lot of Wes Anderson movies, but I did really enjoy Grand Budapest Hotel. So I was excited to watch this movie, and I'm kind of glad it won actually.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, you've already seen Grand Budapest, which is, maybe we'll get into it later, but it might be, it's top three for sure. It might be my favorite Wes Anderson. I don't know, but we'll talk about that a little later. Um, I saw this movie, and I'll kind of just go into my overall impressions. I was a hipster emo scene kid, so I 100% saw this movie when it came out, because all the indie kids were all about it. If you basically, I feel like back then, if you didn't see all the Tarantino and Anderson films, what are you doing with your life?
Yeah, you
Just,
got no cred.
yeah, just unalive yourself at that point. Um, and it, for a long time, it I don't know if it was my favorite movie, but it was definitely up there. Definitely top 10-ish in that realm. It was my favorite Wes Anderson for a long time. Like I said, maybe Grand Budapest might dethrone that, maybe. Um, but I definitely loved it. I loved a lot of things about it, and I wanted to live on Archer Avenue just like they did. Um, but I mean, just in general, it's a great movie. I will definitely say that I liked it more when I was a young hipster person. I watching it again recently, I still love it, but it doesn't hit the same. So I'm really curious, like how you guys, or what you guys thought about it, seeing it for the first time at our age. Um, I'm super curious what you guys think. So,
Well, sorry.
go ahead.
Quick question, please.
Yeah,
Can you expound, or you want
yeah.
to save it for later as to why it doesn't hit the same as it used to, or you want to wait?
I don't, I don't know. I mean, I could kind of get into it now. I don't know. I don't really have a great answer for you. I think, um, it, it is still, I still love it, but it's not like, it's like someone I used to love. Like I still care about it, but I don't
Yeah.
have that burning passion for it anymore. And I don't know why. And maybe that will present itself as we talk about it. I still loved watching it this weekend, but something about it just didn't hit the same, as the kids say.
All right, fair enough.
Overall impressions for you guys, or, I mean, kind of went into it a little bit already, but Robbie, do you want to start with yours?
Yeah, sure. So I was blown away by this movie.
Love it.
I love this movie so much. It has everything that I love, all the themes that I love about life, family drama, the effects of of siblings, or the effects of, families on and each individual person within the family. Um, it was a dark movie,
Yeah.
but it was filled with such sharp dialogue and, you know, beautiful direction that it almost, you know, didn't come across as dark, but you could see the undertones of what the movie was kind of about. Like I said, I love the way it kind of shaped Royal Tenenbaum, Gene Hackman's character, as kind of the reason why this family is the way it is. But you can also see it in the kids, as young prodigies, and how they got things. I guess how they did certain things, and some accomplishments they had early on in their life, and now that they're older, you know, they're kind of involved with depression and things like that, because they're not where they want to be, or they're not as successful as they were in their childhood. But again, the things about the Wes Anderson movies that I love is the dialogue, is the way it's directed, is the music within the movie. I mean, some of these scenes, I mean, I don't know, I just love his direction, just the colors and the set pieces and just everything about it. I love, like, the way scenes are shot, like wide angles, not really up close. You get to see everything. Everything's so meticulous to detail, so much attention to detail in every single scene, that I just was blown away by it. I just thought every single character brought their A game. I thought the dialogue was fantastic. And I don't know, I just loved everything about it. I really did. I didn't think I was going to like it, but by the end of this movie, I was blown away by how much I enjoyed it.
That's awesome. And I just what you said, Anderson's attention to detail, like if you look at the shot, it's maybe two characters, but the margins of the shot are so
Yeah.
meticulous. It's like amazing. I love that about him. All his movies are like that, where like you can tell that he has a set, and it's not just like, yeah, it looks good. It's almost like he's going over every inch, or a set designer, somebody on his team is amazing. Sorry,
Yeah.
Ben.
No, sorry. And that's what I'm saying. I just love it because there's some scenes in his movies, and especially this movie, where it's just a big wide shot, but you're focused on the like one of the characters, and like there's so much going on in the background, whether it's just random people walking in the street, and even quickly like the shot with Gene Hackman and Angelica Houston, where like he tells her he's got like 6 weeks to live, and he never gives you a close up. It's just a wide shot,
Yeah.
and it kind of and like she walks out of the picture, and it still focuses on like Gene Hackman, and it just sits there, and you get so much out of it without having that close up, like so many emotions within that scene. I don't know. I was just blown away by his direction in this movie.
Nice.
To me, I love hearing that from you, Robbie. I love that, like how much you love it. There was just for me, it's like something was missing, and I don't know what it was. Like, by no means did I think it was bad. By no means did I not like it. By no means, like, we're gonna go over this throughout the whole thing, but like soundtrack, awesome. Direction, awesome. Performances, awesome. Like you said, the direction, awesome. But I don't know if I'm just a slave to watching There Will Be Blood last week and just how much I frigging love that movie. Um, I thought this was good, but it just left me wanting a little bit more. And I don't know why I felt like that. Like it took me a long time to get to my score this week. And I couldn't pick out why it wasn't rated as highly as I think you guys are going to grade it. But I don't know. And I can't figure out what, I don't even want to say turn me off, but when the movie ended, I was like, that was good. But do I need to see it again? Probably not. Did I enjoy it? Yeah. Was my balls blown off? No, they're still here, thankfully. I mean, the little seedlings that have grown back after there will be blood are still here. And I don't like, I hate that I'm not comparing the two, but I'm letting that movie sit in my head. Because I mean, Robbie, even you said this weekend, like you're still thinking about There Will Be Blood. And I kind of feel that way too. Like I'm just on such a high from that movie. Almost wish that this wasn't the next movie we watched. We had like a comedy palate cleanser or something like that,
Yeah.
because I don't know, maybe just There Will Be Blood hit so hard for me that maybe my scale is shaken now, and maybe what I want from a movie is a little bit different. But all that being said, I definitely enjoyed it, and there was nothing I could pick out and say that this ruined the movie, this didn't make sense. It was still a very, very good movie, and that's how I feel about it.
Fair. Yeah, maybe doing the Anderson back-to-back Jack, last week and this week. Is there another Anderson director we can do next week? I don't know.
Louis Anderson, did he direct something?
Is it up there? Yeah, I mean, I love hearing both of those assessments from both of you, and yeah, I as you guys are talking, I think what is missing for me, and why I don't, again, my score is going to reflect that I love this movie, but what I think is missing for me personally is that I'm not like a sad boy right now. Like when I was early 20s, I was pretty much like permanently depressed, and parts of this movie just hit so hard for me and made me like connect with it so well. And as an older person, I connect with it differently, but it doesn't have that same, like, for me, emotional like gravity to it that I'm just like so attracted to. I don't know. Maybe I'll figure it out more as we go on, but that's kind of what I was thinking while you guys were talking.
I feel like too, like I super appreciate Wes Anderson, and he's like showing off. And I'm sure the rest of his movies are like this too. He's showing off, but he's not, it all works. And that's the
Right.
difference, I think, between him and, like, I don't really care for Adam McKay too much. Like, I
Okay.
feel like he goes a little nuts with, like, I'm thinking about Vice, the movie about Dick Cheney,
Yeah.
how there was just so many like graphics and like weird cutaways and weird angles and stuff like that, that after a while I was like, all right, dude, enough. Like, we get it. Like, you're different, and Wes Anderson is very much like I'd be interested to talk to Kenny about Wes Anderson, because I feel like all the things that Wes Anderson does is like the rules of cinema, but he just does them beautifully.
The way he
And
wants.
yeah, like rule of thirds, all these different like theories of shooting, and that's what you're getting. And to Robbie's point about like just the way things hang in the frame or they're shot like wide style, I'd be interested in a lot of that kind of theory.
You saying that me and Robbie aren't good enough for you?
Well, someone's got $1.50 education from Temple University, and it ain't us.
Yeah. And I know, so I know Robbie saw Grand Budapest. Did either one of you see any of his other films at all?
I think this is the first one.
Wow.
Oh, that was
Robbie,
it for me.
okay. I mean, I'd love at a certain point, and I don't know if we'll do it on the show, who knows, but I feel like when you watch his entire body of work, like there's so much that connects, but there's also so much that's distinctive about either, I don't want to say each movie, because I feel like there's some groupings like Bottle Rocket, Rushmore, and Royal Tenenbaums. I feel like are his like early albums that are coming from his experiences, his childhood, his traumas, and whatever. And then after he kind of lets that all out, then he's kind of free to experiment. Now there's still some, you can tell some personal feelings in like Life Aquatic and Grand Budapest and Moonrise Kingdom and a couple others. But I feel like that's more those movies as he's been going on. Darjeeling Limited also has a lot of family stuff in it and whatever. But as these movies are going on, it's more about like making films than it is about sharing his life experience. Not to say that again that these newer movies don't have personal experiences from him. And Wes, I know you're listening, like come on and contradict me. But that's kind of how I see it, like almost like a musician. The early albums are their personal albums, and then it kind of goes into their artistry.
Yeah.
But no, I'd love for you guys. Maybe we'll do another Wes Anderson week because there's plenty of good movies. But if not, there's definitely, I'd say like Grand Budapest, Rushmore, Moonrise Kingdom, and even Darjeeling, are worth, and Life Aquatic are definitely worth watching. But anyway,
Yeah.
I'm sorry for going on so long.
No, I mean, we got at least 10 more years of this podcast to fill, so
That's
I'm
right.
sure he'll come back up.
Yeah.
I saw French Dispatch. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, and you know what? I didn't love that, and I think Robbie, you said you didn't love it either. Like there was parts
No.
that you were kind of like, all right, that's cool. Like it's Wes Anderson.
Yeah. There were some
But
parts where I was like, yeah, okay. I mean, I
yeah,
could be without this.
yeah. I feel like I want to watch it again because maybe I'll have a different opinion. I don't know. Whatever. All right. Should we do some plum scales? Some plum ratings?
Yeah, let's do it.
Please.
Would anyone like to go first?
I'll go first because I don't want to be like affected by your guys' score.
Okay.
So like I said, I was having a really hard time with this, and the fact that I was like, I felt bad not giving it over a 9 because, like I said, all the things were there for me. But for some reason, like I liked it, but I wasn't like in love with it. So I ended up landing on 8.6. Still, I think it was a pretty good score, but the one thing I wanted to do and I didn't because it would have affected my score was go back and look at my other scores compared to this one because I didn't want that to affect it. I just felt like 8.6 was a score for me, so I stuck with it. And if it lands weird in my rankings, maybe I'll revisit it at the end of the year.
Fair. Good. Is that your favorite 2-digit number? 86?
1986, Mets won the World Series. I came out. Listen, it all adds up.
Robbie, would you like to go or you want me to go?
Sure, I can go. As for me, I can rewatch this movie over and over again. Like I said, the themes of this movie, really hit home for me. It's something that I feel like everybody faces. maybe some people don't like to talk about it or keep that stuff private in their lives, but I feel like every family, I mean, I don't think they're as messed up as the Targaryens or the Tenenbaums, but I feel like I feel like everybody deals with that. I feel like everybody has that generational trauma where, it takes them a bit to kind of break free from that, or it affects the way they live their lives and things like that. So I really appreciate the theme of this movie and, how he laid it out. And I'm sure there is some underlying tones of his upbringing. I believe he is a child of divorce. I don't know. Maybe I think and Owen Wilson and Luke Wilson as well. I'm not sure. But like I said, maybe I'm just, inside of me, just some Art Deco kid from the Upper West Side that wishes that he can shoot a movie like this and has that creativity to film a movie like this. I mean, there's some I will talk about it in favorite scenes, but there's some scenes in this movie that I just thought were phenomenal with the music and the way it was shot. I mean, I think the dialogue is fantastic. So I guess, in another life, would I love to be a Wes Anderson? Of course. I think his creativity is fantastic. As far as um, plums go, I can't be giving tens around every fucking single week, but I was on the fence. I think this is a fantastic movie. I have to watch more of his movies, and I have to watch Grand Budapest because this might be my favorite movie of his. Um, so I'm gonna go to 9.4.
Nice.
And listen, I'm not depressed or anything like that. I just like movies, and I like to show my emotions. So it is what it is. I love these themes, and hey, I'm a man. I pay my taxes. I can have my fucking opinions.
That's right. I have a quick question before I give my score. Did either one of you tear up at all?
Oh, 100%. 100%. I
Nice.
teared up. I teared up with Ben Stiller's line,
Oh,
and I teared
I
up
got
even
chills
more.
just thinking about it.
I teared up. I thought the ending was in the ambulance was beautiful. I'm
Yeah,
sorry. I it was so emotional to me.
agree. 100% agree. That especially that Ben Stiller line gets me like
Oh
I
my
got
God.
goosebumps right now. Like gets me every time, no matter how
And
many
like you
times I watch it.
and like you say, like, okay, maybe 25-year-old you viewed that differently
Yeah.
compared to, 29-year-old you right now. But
Thank you.
but I feel like you can, even if I watch this at 40 or if I watch it at 60, that line is always gonna stay with me because there's always a period in your life where you have a difficult year.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter. That's what I love about these movies. Like that brings me back, like, fuck yeah, I did have a difficult year,
Yeah.
previously, but you get through it. But that's what family's for, and that's what friends are for, and that's why it's such a powerful, like that whole 4 or 5 words, that whole movie led up to that specific scene and it nailed it.
Yeah. And we might talk about this more later, but it made it so much more powerful based on his character. The entire movie was just so fucking hard and so mad at his father. And then at the end, just, completely vulnerable. And you could, he needs his dad. He's emotional. Like he's had a rough year.
Yeah, he's mad at his dad and he's mad at the world because what happened to his wife and shit
Yeah.
like that. So yeah.
Who, as we know, was a terribly attractive woman. um, but anyway, so I'm gonna give this a 9.3. And I don't know. I probably would have rated it a little higher, like I said, when I was younger. Um, I still really love this film, and I feel like I don't want to keep making this comparison, but I almost kind of feel like with him, and maybe it's because I've seen every single one of his movies, whereas there's some directors out there I haven't. I really see this as almost like a musician where each movie is an album, and like I just like love some of them during certain periods of my life. There's songs I'll cherry pick out of each album that I'll be like, well, no, that's my top or whatever. But then it changes as I change. I really really love this movie, and I love a lot of his movies. But yeah, just like I said before, it hit a little different this time around, and I hadn't watched this movie in a couple years, maybe 3 to 5 years, something like that. But I wasn't watching it like with a critical eye in any way. I was just watching it because I love it. So it was kind of weird when I turned it off. I was like, huh, that feels weird. Like I don't have that same feeling. But no, I love this movie for a lot of the reasons you guys said. And I'm so happy that Robbie, that you loved it, and that Benny, I know it didn't hit as hard for you, but that you enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
was a lit like I just I thought maybe one or more or both of you might have watched it and been like, what the like, come on, like this is so cool. Like that, it's like everyone's such a hipster doofus in this movie.
Yeah.
Um, but all right, good. Awesome. Should we do favorite characters?
Let's do it.
All right. Robbie, do you want to start?
Sure.
Please. I don't want anyone to steal your pick.
Please don't. It's hard of that shit. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Royal Tenenbaum as my favorite
Nice.
character. I think Gene Hackman fucking destroyed this movie. I think he acted circles around everybody in this movie, and I think there was a ton of great acting in this movie. I mean, just his conniving, slimy personality. I just loved, and like I've said previously, I'm a sucker for the hardened character, the kind of scumbaggy character in the beginning of the movie, and then over the course of the movie, turns into a softie or realizes the mistakes that he's made, and he does. I mean, fucking just a fantastic performance with just sucking down the Tic Tacs and making pretend he had stomach cancer. I know it's not a funny thing, but I mean, just doing it because he didn't want his wife to marry Danny Glover's character was funny to me. And over the course of the movie, he understand that he messed up and he wasn't a great parent, and I'm sure those things had an effect on the kids, and I'm sure he realized that because he could see how the kids were acting out even as adults. But I mean, I thought it was a fantastic performance, and like you say it now, but I really couldn't see anybody else play that character because he played it so well. And yeah, so Royal Tenenbaum, even though he was a little scumbaggy, he came through at the end and redeemed himself, and that's what I loved about it.
Fun fact about Gene Hackman is he was a piece of shit on this set. I don't know if you saw
Really?
that. Yeah.
I heard about it, yeah.
Yeah, well, so the story goes that he was towards the end of his career. He wanted like a nice, easy, fun film to do. And apparently it was a little more grueling than expected. And he, got in, didn't like Wes Anderson, or was giving him shit about it. And apparently Bill Murray had to kind of like be like the mediator and tell Gene Hackman to shut the fuck up. A few times. So very interesting.
It's crazy because sorry, Robbie. It's crazy, but like it's crazy to think that he was that much of a prick on the set and like gave this amazing performance and like
Right?
still was all in on it. So
Yeah.
it's wild hearing that. What were you gonna say, Rob?
What was I gonna say? Yeah, supposedly so Wes Anderson wrote Royal Tenenbaum with Gene Hackman in mind. And like he mentioned to Gene Hackman or somebody, and Gene Hackman got pissed. Like I hate when people do that. Don't write, for me. You don't know what I think or how I feel and things like that. So I don't know. But his agent kept on telling him to do the movie, and he won a Golden Globe for it. So take a fucking seat, Gene Hackman, you old bastard.
Yeah. But I think I don't remember specifics, but I think in general Gene Hackman was kind of a prick. Like maybe on the set of Hoosiers, I don't know. But other fun fact, who was almost cast in that role, you had said, Robbie, you couldn't imagine anyone else doing it. Another Gene,
Mm-hmm.
mean Gene, no,
I
Gene
was gonna say Gene
Wilder.
Okerlund.
Yeah. Gene Wilder.
Wow, that would have been
Yeah, I
That
heard
would
interesting.
have
about that.
been interesting. Holy, I miss Gene Wilder so much. I love him. Um, but yeah, Benny, would you like to go with your favorite character?
I will defer to you because I have a tie, and if you break it, I'll just put the one person.
Oh man, it's really hard, and you having a tie is maybe appropriate. Because no matter who I pick here, I'm gonna be happy about it, and we're gonna have like Ani Menches for every single person in this cast.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go with. I think I'm gonna go with Richie. Um, I I I definitely felt like I was saying before when I was younger, I had and this might be a little telling, but I felt like a strong connection with him, with how he was feeling, but also I loved like and I still love like his warmth, even though he tried to kill himself. He just seemed like a good person, like maybe even a little too good, like almost like a little soft, at times. But I love everything about him. The fact that he's like or was a champion tennis player, the bomber, like so funny. And then he's on a fucking ship for a year, and then he comes back, and it's, you know, love Richie. Again, I love a lot of the characters, so I kind of just picked him by default. Mainly because I dressed as him one year for Halloween, and I tried to find pictures, but I was unsuccessful.
Wow, that could have been our post.
I know
That
I
would have
did
been
it
the
good too. I had
that
the
would have been the plums post, like just you instead of.
right. I had the tan blazer with the Fila shirt underneath with the headband. And I put bandages on my wrists and
Nice.
like all fake blood everywhere. Oh, that's good. What a costume. Shout out Chrissy, because that was a Halloween party at her house in 2002 or something, or whatever it was.
I wonder if Phil's got pictures somewhere.
Maybe I was gonna say anyone listening that has pictures, please send them to me first so I can vet them, and then maybe we'll put them on. So Benny,
S
go ahead.
yeah, my favorite character is a tie, and I felt like I'm leaving some people on the table here, but we have Ani mentions for that. But my tie is Margot and Henry. Like
Nice.
for some reason, like those were the two people in the movie that like I just thought gave two of the best performances. I was invested in their characters.
Love them.
Um, Danny Glover, I mean, come on, please. He was fantastic. Just the scene where it's him and Royal in the kitchen.
Oh,
And it's just so good.
so good.
Um, I mean, I'm not a Gwyneth Paltrow fan
Oh,
by a long shot, but again, like I don't know if it's just Wes Anderson, but the fact that he gets all these people to buy in and like give their heart into these like amazing characters is just fantastic. And I loved seeing a different side of Gwyneth Paltrow, and like I said, she's just all in on it. The emo cig smoking girl in the tub for half the movie. But yeah, those are the two I connected with the most, and I enjoyed their performances probably the most.
how bad did you guys want to smoke a cigarette watching this movie?
Oh my god, please, I was fiending.
I smoked fucking 10 in the room watching it.
Yeah, everyone's just ripping darts the whole time. Um, Robbie, Ani Menches, good picks, Benny. That I love both of them, and I think my dislike of Gwyneth Paltrow now is because of who she is now, not
Yeah,
who she was, because she was in some good movies.
I
Sorry,
agree.
Robbie.
Yeah, I probably think this is her best performance. I'm not like I said, I'm not a big Gwyneth Paltrow fan as well, but I thought she was perfect in this movie. Um, Ani Menches, I have to go Pagoda. My man just fucking
The
crushed
best.
it when he fucking stabbed him with the nail filer. I mean,
Son
come
of a
on.
bitch.
I mean, he tried killing him back in the day. It was a hit out for Royal Tenenbaum, and Pagoda was the one that was the assassin. But he just stuck with him through and through. I loved it. Even though he stabbed him with that little nail file, he still stuck with him throughout the entire movie. So, Pagoda, you're my main man.
It's the last time you put a knife in me. Um, I mean, I'll give one. But it's fucking everybody. Benny, why don't you go? Because I'm just gonna name everyone else.
All right, I'll name just two quick ones then.
Right.
And one is Angelica Houston. I mean,
Yep.
awesome, like crushed
Awesome.
it. We don't have to go too deep because I'm sure we will during the scenes. But she was great. And then my other one, just for the LOLs, but I really did like his character, was Dusty. Like
Gus is
Yeah.
the best.
that's the kind of guy that every time he pops up in a movie or a TV show or something, like there's something about his voice and just the
The
way
best.
was, aligned with Royal. I just thought he was a funny character, and I enjoyed his performance too.
Yeah, no, he was good. And he's also in Rushmore. And he's in a ton of stuff. But yeah, I agree with that, like his voice and just everything about him. But everybody in this movie, Ben Stiller, fantastic. Owen Wilson, fantastic. Bill Murray, fantastic. Like Alec Baldwin is the narrator, fantastic. Even the kids, Ari and Uzi, love everybody. Even Dudley, I'll give it a Dudley gets an Ani mensch.
Oh, Dudley was fantastic.
Everybody gets one. Can he tell time? Oh God, no. Um,
Ah,
and
Least faves.
yeah, least faves. Let's do least faves. It's gonna be tough. Anyone have? Oh wait, who went last? Benny?
I did, yeah. So least faves. I mean, this is a movie just like last week. Like, who do you pick? They're like nobody. There's nobody that was bad in this movie. No bad acting. No bad characters. I guess I'll give it to the only person was the Asian masseuse, just because she didn't have any lines. So there you go. Like that would be it, because everybody else, like even Dudley, who's like this bubbling idiot. There's no one you can give it to, so I'll give it to her just because she didn't have any lines, and she probably would have killed it and knocked it out of the park if she did.
Probably. I'm looking for the guy's name. And
don't.
I agree with you. There's basically nobody. But I'm gonna give it to I can't find him, but the guy that was interviewing Eli or interviewing Owen Wilson. And just like seemed like a smug son of a bitch. And then there's that montage of Margot's life, and you see him in there just
Oh yeah,
blatantly, I mean,
cop
I
in
don't
a
want to say
field.
assaulting her, but copping a feel, yeah. Um, so I'm gonna go with that guy. And I'm pretty sure that he's an actual like reporter, but and I think he's a piece of shit. But um, yeah, here we go. Larry Pine. It's Peter Bradley. I'm gonna look him up while Robbie goes.
I think you're thinking of Charlie Rose.
Oh, is that who I'm thinking of?
Charlie Rose is a piece of shit.
Is that who I'm thinking of? Okay.
Yeah, he does like one of those. He was like on CBS. He did one of those weird, like actor interview type shows where it's just him and the guys like a round table, like a dark room, like a black draped room.
Yeah, that's who
But
I'm
he
thinking
like
of.
he like sexually assaulted a bunch of people.
Okay. So maybe he's like based on him or something.
Yeah,
Okay. All right. Thank you. See, Robbie, this is why you're in my life.
yeah, he almost slammed um Larry Pine for no reason.
For no reason.
Poor Larry
So
Pine.
Larry, if
Yeah.
you're listening,
Sorry.
sorry. Jesus
Also,
Christ.
come on the show.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can't really find anybody, and Ryan stole my pick, but I'm gonna just pick the same person. I'm gonna
Yeah.
pick Peter Bradley for groping Margot, during one of her, you know, floozy stages in her life. You don't just start grabbing titties unless somebody tells you you can grab some titties. So,
She was
yeah,
into it though. I'm not
Seems like
victim
it.
shaming, but she
no,
she
she
was
was,
definitely into it.
she was, and I really couldn't find anybody back. I thought everybody was awesome in this movie, and I thought everybody brought their A game and delivered their dialogue in such a unique and well, pleasant way. So I enjoyed everybody. So I can't shit on anybody so I'll just go with the sexual assault, allegedly, according to Benny. I'll go
I
with
mean,
Peter Bradley.
it,
She
it
liked it.
re-
She didn't smack his hand.
No, that was probably the few
The other
times in
one
the movie
leaves.
we saw her smile. Yeah.
Yeah.
It really feels like every character was written for each one of these actors. I don't know
Right.
if they made adjustments after the fact, like when
A
they
bit.
casted the person, but like you really can't see anybody playing any of these, any other person playing any of these characters because they all just nail it 100%.
Right. Well, I mean, look at like Owen and Luke were part of the process. Like they're all friends. Like they I don't know if you know the backstory, but they met in college. Wes Anderson and the Wilson family, I guess. So you're probably right. And I think I read that a couple of the characters' roles were expanded like after they were cast. So you're probably onto something there. I think you're right.
Me.
Look at you. Look at us.
Look at us.
All right. Do you want to do least or favorite scene?
Let's do least because I think it's going to be another one where we really don't have much, and then we
Yeah,
could finish strong with the favorites.
true. All right. Well, since you picked, then you get to go first.
Yeah. Um, least favorite scene. I would say just because of the ick it gave me was Richie cutting his wrists because it was definitely like, we all know my history with blood. So that was a little too real for me. I thought when you first get the shot of his arms that it was like just him imagining it because he said I'm going to kill myself tomorrow.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, again, vital to the movie, but just because of all the blood and the images that it gave, that's the only reason I say it's my least.
Fair. Robbie, would you like to go?
Yeah, I didn't have a least favorite scene. I thought every scene was phenomenally done, but I will just go with maybe the scene between Royal and what the hell is Danny Glover's character's name? Sorry.
Henry
Henry?
Sherman.
Yeah, so Royal and Henry in the kitchen when Royal calls him Coltrane. I might have to just chill with that a little bit. That's a little bit on the little tinge of schism as the kids say from Royal. So yeah, I mean, I get it. I'm sure a lot of people watching it now are probably up in arms about it, but I'll go with that as my least favorite scene, even though I understand it. But you didn't have to call him Coltrane, even though Coltrane's a fantastic jazz musician, but still.
Yeah, could have called him a worse person, I guess.
Yeah, he could
That's
have
true.
called. Yeah, exactly.
Um, and it's funny because I think Benny mentioned that earlier, and I agree. Like while that's a little bit cringy, it's also a great scene at the same time. But you're right. There's like it's hard to pick. I'm gonna go also very similar to Robbie. Like I can't really pick much. I'm just gonna go with Buckley dying because that's upsetting. When Owen Wilson
Yeah.
ran him over. Um, I mean, there's so many like good parts and funny parts. Like he's wearing the fucking face paint like a psycho. Um, did I run over the dog? Wow.
Wow.
Wow. So I guess I'll just go with that just because, Buckley is that was upsetting seeing him die.
Yeah, and they left poor Buckley in the
Under the
hotel and they
car.
ran there when they ran their little like evacuation drill.
Yeah, that's true.
So nobody cared about Buckley.
Yeah. It's fucked up. That dog survived the plane crash.
Yeah, he did.
All right. So favorite scenes. Shit, I have to go first, don't
Mhm.
I? Damn it. It's so hard to pick. Um, I think I'm gonna steal someone's pick right now. And I'm having trouble picking, but I'm gonna go with the scene where Royal takes the kids out on the town and Julio down by the schoolyard is playing, and they're just,
Awesome.
dog fights, riding garbage trucks, go-karts, stealing, like all the stuff that these two children have never been able to do. Um, And I love the music accompaniment, and I'm sure I'm gonna get mad when you guys name other scenes, and I'll say, "Damn it, I should have picked that."
The pressure of the number one pick.
Oh, so hard. I mean, do you guys come in here with like specifics, or do you think about your favorite scene like as it comes to you?
Kind of as it comes to me, just because I know whatever I think is going to get stolen anyway. So
Sure.
I just think on my toes a little bit.
Same.
Oh, I have my notes app,
Nice.
and then I have a Microsoft Word note as
Nice.
well.
And a legal
See,
pad?
I'm extremely prepared.
are you taking notes during the movie?
Yeah.
See, that's what, like, I don't want to say I don't get mad at Aya when she talks during the movie, but I'm like, I'm focusing. Just leave me. So, because I don't want to, maybe just because I have ADD, and if I start typing, I know I'm going to miss stuff. But maybe I got to try to do something while I'm watching the movie.
I'll
Shifting
pause some
into soup
scenes.
mode.
Yeah, I'll pause some
Pause.
scenes. Yeah. Or if I know if I enjoy that scene, I'll just pause it real quick and write a quick couple of notes down and just jot some bullet points.
That's why you're the
But
best.
I'm an anal fucking lunatic, so it doesn't really matter. So
Yeah.
as you saw by my meticulous 15 to 20 page legal pad notebook that I had for our best songs.
Oh, that was great.
I used to take notes for House of the Dragon. But I feel like that was because I never saw it before. Whereas this, like Royal Tenenbaums, I've seen like 20 times or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, but all right. Anyway, who's next?
Go ahead, Rob.
There's so many. There really is. I have so many scenes written down. Um Ryan, that one with Royal and Chaz's kids, I loved. I love when a scene is playing, right, and it's happening, and then it cuts right into like a music montage.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the greatest things. I love it so much. I get so excited about that stuff.
And I love
Um,
how I'm sorry to cut you off, but like how that music like came in because it was like they were talking about doing it, and it was just like you could hear it like low in the background, and it just gets a little louder and a little louder, and then it's just like, up, they're out on the town.
yeah. I have a a favorite scene in this movie, but I don't want people to call like a psych ward, so I'll leave it for an Ani Mensch. Or
No,
should I
do
just
it.
say,
Do it
Say
because
it.
I almost picked it as well.
I thought that the suicide attempt, and it's not like a favorite scene,
It was
but
done very well.
I just thought it was done extremely well. It's just Elliott Smith, Neil in the Hay. Ryan,
Oh,
you picked that song
the best.
as one in I think you picked it for our our little like going gray thing that we did.
Did I pick Needle in the Hay?
Or I think you might have mentioned it. I don't know if you picked it, but you mentioned because I took Elliott Smith from Good Will Hunting. I think you said he had another good song, Tenenbaums.
Yes, that's probably it. Yeah. I mean, amazing. And he's maybe killed himself as well, but there's a little bit there that he may not have. But anyway, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, I just thought it was amazingly shot.
Phenomenal.
Nothing needed to be said. Just the song carried that entire scene. It carried the emotion. It carried everything. You see the express. I mean, I think Luke Wilson did a fantastic job in that scene. I don't know what he was doing, really. I just thought he was losing it. I didn't think he was gonna try to kill himself. But then, only as like Wes Anderson does, that was just shot so well and so great, and a perfect, music choice. But then what's his name? Dudley finds him, and then it cuts right into them rushing him into the hospital, and he still has the fucking shaving cream on his face
Yeah.
Yeah.
when they're
Yeah.
wheeling him. I was dying laughing. Bill Murray's got the blood everywhere, and then it led to a fucking hilarious, I mean, exchange between Richie and Chaz when
Yeah.
and I have it up, and Chaz asks him, "Why'd you try to kill yourself?" And then Ethel goes, "Don't press him right now." And then Richie goes, "I wrote a suicide note." And he goes, "You did?" He goes, "Yeah, right after." He goes, "Right after I regained consciousness." Like, can we read it? And he goes, "No." "Can you paraphrase it for us?" "I don't think so." And Chaz goes, "Is it dark?" And Richie goes, "Of course it's dark. It's a suicide note."
Yeah.
And then he signs himself out of the hospital and leaves.
Yeah.
So Well, it is sad, and it goes to show you what Richie was going through, and how terrible he felt inside that he was willing to kill himself. It's a. I understand the scene, the dynamic of the scene, but the way it was shot and what it evolved into was just fantastic.
Yeah, agree. And I love the scene immediately after that when it's Bill Murray goes to Gwyneth Paltrow. May I have a cigarette, please? And
Yeah.
then and he's like, "You made a cuckold out of me," and he just walks out. But then she just lights a cigarette in a hospital, and Angelica Hughes is like, "How long have you been smoking?" She's like, "20 years." I think you should stop.
And that's, I mean, even that line where he said, he says, "Can you paraphrase?" And he says, "No, I don't think I can."
Yeah.
That, like, the dialogue is just so good. And I think of, like, uh even when Alec Baldwin is narrating, and he's like, just some of the way he says some of the words, like, the fancy way where he's talking about the finances and
Yeah.
not the finances. Like, that's what I miss in Tarantino sometimes, is like he tries to make the dialogue a little more witty than he should at some points, whereas I feel like all the witticisms and, like, making the dialogue smarter, or the way people say things in this movie, like, it always hit. The dialogue was always on point in this movie.
Agree.
Yeah, he just has a way. He just has a way of like turning dark humor, dark situations into, you know, not seeing it so dark. Whereas like Tarantino, it would always like so scenes that are dark in Tarantino movies are always going to be dark. So
Yeah.
I feel like that's what I like the most about like specific Wes Anderson movies.
Yeah, I
My
mean,
favorite scene. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say quick, like how many, not just this scene, but several scenes, like the scene I mentioned before with Buckley getting run over. There's comedic elements in that. There's comedic elements in Royal's death. The fucking gravestone, died heroically, saving his family from a sinking battleship. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, this suicide scene, like, just, yeah, I agree. I love finding humor in any situation, and it's not for everyone. But I definitely love it. So good point, Robbie.
My favorite scene, I'm gonna go, Robbie's mentioned it a few times, and I feel the same way. I love a good redemption or good come up. So I'm gonna go with the, hold on, my video's spazzing out here.
Yeah, you were kind of.
All right. How much did you miss?
um I heard it all, but it
Can you
was
hear
just
me?
kind of a little. Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
All right, so I'll start again. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
So my favorite scene was, Robbie had mentioned it previously, was he loves a come up or a redemption. So I'm gonna go stick with that and say that my favorite scene was the montage, not necessarily montage because there was dialogue, but Royal going around and, like, doing a good deed for everybody at the end of the movie that ends up with him serving the divorce papers to um, Ethel. And I just love the heart in that, and it really tied the movie together in a way and left you with a good feeling. So yeah, I really appreciated that part of the movie, and it's like, that's what. Whereas the movie just kind of felt, like I said earlier, where it was like not necessarily showing off, but there was so many things going on, and it just felt like, oh, this is a cool scene, we're going to move to this cool scene. And that scene just tied the movie together, and it was like the quote unquote lesson of the movie. And I just really liked it, and it left a little warm spot in your heart.
Okay. We got most of that,
Yeah, I
I
enjoyed that.
think.
I think we did.
Yeah. It's a little
Yeah. All
jumbly,
right.
but
Fuck.
whatever. That's fine. We're not winning awards for fucking sound editing.
Yeah, I don't know why I was even.
Yeah, you're breaking up again, Benny. Maybe turn
Yeah, I'm gonna
your.
turn off my video for a bit.
Yeah. See, now you're perfect. So did
All right. TV's not perfect
everyone
because you can't see me.
stop it? You're gorgeous. Stop.
You're beautiful. Cut the shit.
Yeah. Um. Any who has some Ani mentions?
I have an Ani
Robbie?
Mensch.
Yeah, please go ahead.
The o- yeah, the opening prologue, awesome. amazing. I just love a nice little. I don't know, just the way he shoots, like almost like chapters of a book. Like he had the book out. Obviously, I love that. And then Alec Baldwin's narrating the whole thing, and you're getting introduced to every character, and he's telling you every single backstory about the character. You're talking about Margot, how she's like an award-winning playwright. Richie, how he's a an award-winning tennis player, and how Chaz is just this financial wizard. And you get the um we're all talking to the kids about getting a divorce, uh and things like that. Yeah, I just love it. And then you slowly have the Hey Jude in the background, and then that builds when Richie lets Mordecai fly off into the wilderness over there in the city, overlooking the city. I mean, I just love that opening prologue. It was so great. And then having, you know, Hey Jude play off in the background as Mordecai flies away, and then you get the introduction to every actor and what character they're playing. I thought it was perfectly done, and it really, really, really got me going to want to watch that movie.
Nice. Um, I'll jump in with one. Again, there's so many, but I've always loved the scene when Richie gets back from being on the ocean liner and Margot steps off the bus and it goes in slow motion and the song's playing and it just like you can tell. I know in his letter he said to Eli, I think I'm in love with Margot, but like in that moment you were just like, oh yeah, he's deeply in love with this woman. But it was just so beautifully shot. You know, I don't know. And I love this doesn't really fit in really any of our segments, but I just love the I guess fairy tale aspect of this movie because we're lucky enough that we either live in or near enough to the city that we've been there so many times. And this is absolutely like a fictionalized fairy tale version of the city and it almost comes off as like it's from the 70s but like if it's in present day because Royal's tombstone reads 2001 is when he died. So it's like this rich person's weird fairy tale version of the city with like fake locations and gypsy cabs and green line buses and like all this crazy shit. Like it's almost like they all are frozen in time. And even the city around them is frozen in this like past, maybe when they were successful. But I love that about this movie.
Yeah, I loved when the just how the bus pulled up.
Yeah.
Something about how we shot the way the bus pulled up, and the first time, just obviously that was the first time, watching that scene, but it was so beautiful. It really was such a like just the way he shot that, and the song coming in and the slow motion. It was a beautiful scene, and it was one of my favorite scenes of the entire movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Agree. Um, Benny, if you're still there, do you have any Ani mentions?
For me, can you hear me?
Sort of.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Again, sort of. You're breaking up.
All right, I'm gonna guys do another one. I'll drop back.
All right. Robbie, do you have any off the top of your head, or do you want me to
I
mention
do, I
another one?
do.
Yeah,
I
please go
mean,
ahead.
the Margot montage with the
Oh, so
Ramones,
good.
please, so
Oh, so
fucking
good.
awesome,
Yeah.
so awesome, and it just leads to the iconic line from Bill Murray, and it's just like basically like he finds out everything she does, and then he's like, "Oh, she smokes."
Yeah. Yeah. So
But the montage is so great. I mean, I don't like, dude, and I like honestly, like I wonder. I'm so fascinated by maybe how many times like a director and whoever is helping him out, like how they just go through, like how many songs do they go through, right? Like
oh,
until they find that. Like
the
how do you
perfect
know
one.
that Ramon song is gonna just hit the way it hits in that specific scene? Like, you know what I'm saying?
I know. I agree. I think he must go through, like, it's playing in his mind that, like, um what his vision is of the scene. And like, we know from all the other movies we've watched, like sometimes it's like a hassle for them to like get the rights to that song. So like, imagine you have this perfect scene, this perfect song, and the artist is just like, nah. And then you have to go back to the drawing board. And I feel like there's times in movies where it almost seems like this song choice was like the second option or third option or
Yeah.
something. And it's like, doesn't fit perfectly. Whereas in this film, like, he must have just scored the rights to everything he needed, because everything fits so perfect. Um, I agree.
I don't think that they got the rights to, I think, two Rolling Stone songs. I don't know if there was two Stone songs in this movie, but
Mm-hmm.
he was like, "Fuck it, we're gonna play it in the movie." But I don't think it's on a soundtrack. But my Shazam was going ballistic last night.
Nice.
I mean, even the ending with the Van Morrison song. I mean, that was a great
Yep.
song to end it with as well.
Yep.
Just to, I mean, like I said,
I love that
I
song, by the way.
yeah, I find it so remarkable, um, how they just pick out these songs. I'm so I'm not a jealous person or an envious person, but sometimes I do get envious as
I'm so
when I
envious.
when I see somebody that's so extremely creative and is able to intertwine things like music and shots like he doesn't. Like, it just amazes me, and I'm in awe of it.
I know. It makes me, I actually was going to say this before when you were talking about his creativity. Like, it does make me envious, or almost like a little upset, that like someone in this world who is the same species as me, I mean, allegedly based on genetics, but like, can be so supremely good at something, and I'm so bad at everything.
No,
Like, I know, but you know what I
no,
mean.
but you know
Like,
what? Yeah, I know what you mean.
it's
Yeah, of
crazy,
course.
like how, are talented, like artistic, or
And
like
heating up.
athletes or whatever. Yeah, look at this picture. Oh my goodness.
No, you're right. It just
It's
it's
crazy.
like I'll never understand, like, just somebody's born with that gift. It's weird to me, but like you said, I mean, I thought like this movie was great the way he shot it, but the way he shoots, like, the Grand Budapest, the
Yeah,
colors and everything like
everything.
that, it's just
It's just
beautiful. It's
him.
beautifully shot. And even
Yeah.
like the French Dispatch, beautifully shot.
Oh yeah.
The colors are like, I don't know. It's weird. I love it.
Yeah, I definitely would love for you to watch some of his other films again. Like, maybe we'll do it on the show. I don't know. But there's a number of his films that are just so amazing. Even, he has a couple of like animated ones, Isle of Dogs and Fantastic Mr. Fox, and they're both so enjoyable. They're so good. So I look forward to hearing what you think about those, whether we watch
Yeah.
them on here or wherever. Um, and just really quick, and then we'll move on. But besides the songs that you're talking about and the song choices, the fact that you're, just so in, like, we're both so in awe of like the perfection of song choices. But I think the same way about dialogue. Like he, when you're filming this, like, is this right off the page, or are they workshopping like as they're doing? Because so much of the dialogue is so perfect, and the word choice is perfect, and the cadence and every, the way they say it. I just, it amazes me that people can make things like this. It's just, I'm in awe of it. It's crazy.
Yeah. And it amazes me because if you like watch his interviews or even just see him, you're like, this is the fucking guy.
Yeah.
Like this is the guy that has this sharp dialogue and these great set pieces and this fantastic direction. But it's like, yeah, and like honestly, credit to Owen Wilson as well, like for his writing in this movie. Like, there are people that say that, you know, some of Wes Anderson's greatest movies are movies that, Owen Wilson has
Yeah.
helped write.
Yep. I think this was the last one. Or there's one more after this, I think. I have to look, but I've heard that as well, Robbie, that like
Yeah.
once him and Owen Wilson stopped writing together, that like it lost like a little bit of maybe heart, for lack of a better phrase. But Agree. Benny, how's your computer?
Hey, so my other computer is not charging, and it was at like
Oh,
2%. So I think that's why I was dropping off there. But yeah, I had a couple Ani mentions. If you guys had touched on them, tell me to stop. But it
oh, go ahead.
it was any narration
Of course.
that was involved. It was almost like the precursor to the Ron Howard narration of Arrested Development.
Yeah.
Like I forget, I wish I wrote it down, but it was one of them where they were like, "Oh, I think this," and then he came and he was like, "It definitely was that," or
Yeah.
something like that. I mean, as soon as I heard it was Alec Baldwin, I was like, "All right, let's go." Another great addition to this movie. But then yeah, and we touched on it a little bit earlier, is the whole car crash scene and everything that came after that. And
Yep.
Ben Stiller just kind of stole the show throughout that, where I thought Ben Stiller was good in the whole movie, but people were constantly stealing the performance, and being the star of each one of those scenes. He really took over towards the end of the movie there, and especially like when he jumped over the wall and was just laying there, with Owen Wilson, and he's like, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "No, I don't, or I think I need help, and I need help too."
Yeah.
And then you mentioned the scene between him and Gene Hackman at the end there, and the acknowledgement that yeah, he has not had a good time this last year, and he's ready to accept that. I just thought it was a great way to, I mentioned before just how well they put the bow on this movie, and it's, everything was in line with each other, and it was the same story, but it almost felt like one of those great Seinfeld episodes where everything just kind of converged and everything just tied up so neatly. And yeah, that's what I really appreciated about the movie.
Yeah.
I forgot
Agree.
to say too, like that scene, the wedding scene. I fucking laughed so hard when the priest fell down the steps. I,
Yeah.
I it was fucking hilarious. I could not stop. Like literally was laughing as hard as I've laughed so far, like watching any movie.
Yeah, that's so good because like the way he falls initially, it looks like he's gonna tumble, but then the next scene he's just like sliding down the
Sliding.
stairs.
Yeah.
And then I love when Ben Stiller like just loses it in any movie because he does it so well.
Yeah, he's good. He's in a lot of, I don't want to say stupid movies, but he's in some dumb movies. But he's in some really good movies. He's definitely done some good movies behind the camera as well. I mean, he's been doing that show that we love, or that some of us love, Severance.
Yeah.
But he did Cable Guy. People give that movie shit, but I think it's fantastic. And he's been in a bunch of good movies. Um, anyway, any other Ani mentions? I feel like once when we're done recording, I'm gonna be like, "Fuck, why didn't I mention that
Should
scene?"
have said this. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
Should have
honestly,
been.
this is one of the movies that you could like throw a dart at the storyboard, and whatever it lands on, we could probably talk about for 10 minutes.
we probably should have
Oh,
put all the scenes in that wheel that you used before.
Yeah.
yeah, quickly. I know we touched on it, but the few Danny Glover performances when he falls into the
Yeah,
ditch, that was
the
fucking
whole.
hilarious. Yeah, and even when he finds out when they catch Royal in the lie with the
Oh,
Tic
so
Tacs
good.
and the medicine, such a great scene. It really is. And
You don't eat
even
3 cheeseburgers a day.
like, how do you know about stomach cancer? It's like because my
Yeah,
wife had it.
yeah.
And even that same scene where Ben Stiller go and Royal, Chaz and Royal go into the
Oh,
closet
the
and scream
board
at each
game
other.
closet. I
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
love that closet.
And Royal, for what he is, knew how much pain Chaz was in. So that
I
was
think
good. And what
I think you're having a nervous breakdown.
and then even like again, even when Eli they come and do an intervention, he's like, it's just you guys here? And he goes, okay. It's like, give me a second. And he just fucking escapes out the out the window.
And Pagoda, there he goes. I love the
Pagoda.
shots that he did, that Wes Anderson did, with looking down on the street from the window, because that's 100% a city like view. Is looking
Yeah.
down and seeing someone scurry off. Hey,
Yeah.
I know you, asshole. And
So
Owen
great.
Wilson just does the like raised hand. Fucking weirdo. Uh, so good. All right. Well, again, yeah, there's probably other scenes that we're leaving on the table, but that's okay. We all know how good it is. Um, I don't know if we're gonna have much for the next segment, but is there anything you can think of to make this movie better?
Hmm.
Uh,
I
Personally,
really
for me,
got.
I know
Go ahead.
I don't have anything. I'm gonna keep it short. I don't have anything. I thought this movie was, uh, like I said, the pacing, everything from start to finish was remarkable and brilliantly done. And I have no issues with this movie or can figure out any way to make it better. I thought it was perfect as is. Flew by, and I don't care. The time was great, and everything was good about it. So
I
nothing from
f-
me.
I feel like you're gonna watch this again like soon
Oh, I might watch it. I might call him
tonight.
sick and just do a Wes Anderson day, like play hooky.
You really should.
I mean, I couldn't believe how much I love this movie when I was done with it. It's a timeless classic to me now. It's my
Yeah,
go-to.
it is.
It's my go-to whenever you know whenever I need to watch it.
Um,
The only
yeah,
thing
go
that
ahead,
would
Ron.
make the movie better for me is, I love Alec Baldwin, so I would have wanted a prologue to the prologue where Alec Baldwin comes, sits down, and reads his grandson this story, his sick
Oh, like
grandson.
Princess Bride?
Yeah. So you get a little bit of Alec Baldwin in the movie, or it's sneaking him into the actual movie at some point as a little bit character that shows up for just a second. So that would be it for me.
Yeah, he
I
just he
agree.
just comes in and says to somebody, he's like, "You want to smoke? You smoke? You want to smoke? What do you
You
want?
want
A
to
health
smoke?
freeze? And go fuck yourself."
And it's funny because if he said that, everyone has a cigarette.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, everybody would have said yes.
Yeah. Um, I don't know if I have anything. The only thing I could think of is, and maybe just because whatever you think about him, I love fucking Bill Murray, and I would have loved to have a little bit more Bill Murray in this movie. Now he features a little in a lot of Wes Anderson movies, so Robbie, I'm excited for you to watch all those for the first time. But yeah, I'd say that there's not much that I have. Maybe just a little more Bill Murray because we could always use some more Bill Murray in our lives.
Definitely.
Fantastic.
Um, I know that was a tough segment, but I do have a way that we can make this movie better.
Tell me about
It's called We Should Cast Matt Damon.
it.
I forgot what I
You,
said last week.
you said you should cast Matt Damon, you cocksuckers.
Yeah, fuck you, you fucking cocksucker. Um, so yeah, what a role that exists or does not exist, would you cast a young, handsome, virile Matt Damon in? Benny,
give
would you like to
me,
go?
yeah, give me a strong, smart, educated Matt Damon as one of Margot's lovers.
Oh,
And he's in the montage.
love
They're
it.
at Harvard. There's a chalkboard behind him with an equation on it, and he can't figure it out until he gets a taste of Margot. And then you cut to him turn around and he solves the equation, just by getting a little bit of that Margot love.
I love it. Fantastic. Robbie, would you like to go?
Uh, yeah, give me a lean, mean math machine, equation driven love machine, preteen, lean, mean, still mean, and still
Serene.
lean, serene, drinking water out of
Serene.
a can, drinking water out of a canteen. Matt Damon as Will Tenenbaum,
Oh,
the fourth child of the Tenenbaums, not adopted, a blood child, as the math wizard who is conflicted with how smart he is and doesn't know what to do and gets into constant trouble, and finally shows up one day as a Nobel Prize winning Will Tenenbaum, a Fields Medal Will Tenenbaum. And he just shows up one day and comes back to shit on his dad, Royal, to tell him all the trauma that he's brought into his life, and now he can't continue to do math because Royal is, messing his previous, as a young child, he's messing with his life. So give me a young Matt Damon as Will Tenenbaum, the math genius of the family.
Fantastic. I had a thought, but I'm actually gonna recast my recast. Give me a young, virile, mean, preteen Matt Damon as the grandson that Alec Baldwin reads to in the beginning of the movie in Benny's prologue. Just let me set the scene for you. So we have Matt Damon. He's snuggling into his bed. He's a sick day from school. He's playing video games, and then in walks Alec Baldwin. Sits down, opens up the book that we see in the actual prologue, and starts reading. And by the end, Matt Damon realizes that it's actually a book written by J.D. Salinger about the Glass family, because that's what this movie is loosely based on. Did you guys read any Salinger at all?
No.
So just a quick synopsis. Salinger wrote Catcher in the Rye. That's his most famous work, but he also wrote a number of books about this family called the Glass family, and it's very, very similar to the Tenenbaums. I think Wes Anderson took a little bit of inspiration from it, but it's not exactly the same. Of course, he inserted his own probably personal experiences and stuff like that, but that was also something I very much enjoyed when I was a young, lean depression machine.
Just cranking out the depression.
Oh yeah. So anything else that we need to talk about with this film, just in general?
Just in general, I'm excited to watch a couple more Wes Andersons. Kenny has some strong opinions about him having like a very steep fall off.
Him and I talked about that too. Like after Darjeeling Limited, he's like, I don't even pretend they exist. But
yeah, so
I disagreed with him.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested to see what he's talking about. So I'm excited for another Wes Anderson week.
Yeah, I think we should. We definitely should. There's a couple others we should definitely watch. Robbie, any thoughts?
No, I'm happy I watched it, and I'm glad I enjoyed it as much as I did. So
Me too.
Thank you for this podcast, because if it wasn't for this podcast, I wouldn't have watched it probably.
Don't you love when your friends love the things that you love?
Yeah,
I do. I just wish that the two of yous would love the 49ers as much as I love the 49ers.
I might be in the market. I might be in the market for a new team.
Oh boy.
Please don't. After I saw what you did to Joe Burrow, please don't.
Well, thank you as always for joining, for listening to us. Please send us an email. Again, it's ltbwpodcast@gmail.com. It'll be in the show notes. Let us know what we missed. There's definitely probably some scenes that might be your favorite that we missed, because then we were doing a 4-hour podcast just talking about every single fucking scene. And let us know, what we should watch next. Maybe pick 3 Wes Andersons for us to watch at some point. Or check our Instagram, Let the Boys Watch Pod, where we're going to put up a vote. You're probably listening to this Thursday. It's going to be up tomorrow on Fridays. Every Friday, there's the vote for what we're going to watch next. So send us an email about that too. We love you so much. Thank you for your support. What's the girl's name or person's name? She may not be a girl. Meow something.
Meow Kitty Purr. Congratulations.
Yeah, congrats on our first, maybe last, I don't know, we'll see, contest.
Yeah, please. I'm all tapped out.
Yeah, I don't have as much discretionary funds to be giving out money.
Tell your
But
friends, Meow Kitty Purr. Please help
yeah,
us.
tell your friends.
Yeah, kitty. From one kitty to another. Meow.
um, so again, thank you, Robbie. Tell him good night.
Good night, Royal. Hell of a damn grave. Wish it were mine.
Will somebody kill these damn mice?
You son of a bitch.